guys, it is April from Getting Go With It. I wanted to again thank you so much for supporting my channel. As promised, we are going to delve into how to read like a Cancer. Cancers are from June 21st-ish to July 20th-ish. It's always debatable, so I'm going with those numbers. If you have a birthday in that time, I'm wishing you a very happy birthday. And if you don't have a birthday, that's okay. I think you're gonna get some really great books here. So Cancers, let's chat about them. They are very much protective people. They're loyal in a real way. If you have a Cancer as a friend, I mean, hold on to them. They're incredibly caring and intuitive. I mean, we all have faults, so they also can be a little bit moody. They can be a little overly sensitive, and they can also be vindictive. But we all have faults. I'm a Taurus. I can be incredibly bullheaded. So we're gonna launch into one characteristic, and today we're going to launch into one of the more negative characteristics of Cancer, and that's vindictiveness. Now, I almost chose this trait to do for this video because I find it so funny. I have one of my best friends is a Cancer, and like, she's not vindictive at all. I've never ever seen her be vindictive, and I've known her for like 11 years. So it's almost funny to me. So I think I have 7 books here with vindictive characters in it, and I thought this would be really fun. So let's dive right in. First is Christine in The Secretary by Renee Knight. This follows a woman who is a secretary to a very prominent, big businesswoman named Mina Appleton. So she's like a personal assistant slash secretary, and Mina is not a very good person. She does a lot of crappy things that are really rude, kind of morally wrong, and Christine is so unbelievably loyal. She is loyal for years, and she goes way above and beyond for years, up to the point that she puts like her family second and Mina first. And she has like a child, and she still puts her family second and Mina first until she doesn't, until enough is enough and she wants revenge. And you know that Christine is going after revenge from the blurb on the back. You know that that's going to happen. But it's still surprising because you are finding out how loyal she was for so long. So you just don't know how it's going to go down, and it's really fun. I really enjoyed this one. Next is Hatsumomo in Memoirs of a Geisha. At least I'm pretty sure that's her name. In this book, we meet a girl who ends up having multiple names, and I can't remember any of them. But she is sold off by her parents. Her mother is on her deathbed. Her father is incredibly poor and cannot take care of his children. And so he sells her to become a geisha. And so she goes to this house to learn how to become a geisha. But there is an established geisha there named, I think, Hatsumomo. And she is very revered. She's incredibly beautiful, but she's incredibly cruel. And she's so cruel to this little girl, and throughout, as she grows up, she continues to be unbelievably cruel and sets her up to fail and sets her up to embarrass her. She's just horrendous, and it doesn't end. And I think there is lots and lots of jealousy here, where she is afraid that this little girl is going to be bigger and better as a geisha than she is, and she is incredibly vindictive. So Memoirs of a Geisha. It's also historical fiction, if I didn't mention that already. Next is Mrs. Danvers from Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. In this book, we meet a woman who you never know her name, and there's a real reason for that. So you meet her, and she has just met this very handsome man named Maxim de Winter, and they have this like whirlwind romance. He asks her to marry him, and she says yes. And they go back to his Cornish estate called Manderley. It's this beautiful estate. He's wealthy on top of being handsome, so she says yes, please. They go back, and she soon really feels uncomfortable because she's constantly being compared to his first wife named Rebecca. Everyone seems to have loved Rebecca, especially Mrs. Danvers, who is a servant there. She is hateful towards this main character, and again always sets her up to make herself look foolish. She says cruel things, and our main character just kind of has to put up with it. And she's vindictive because she, I think, feels angry that Rebecca is not there anymore. She's died, and she doesn't like that Rebecca has been replaced so quickly, and she takes all of her anger out on our main character, and it is one heck of a ride. Very, very atmospheric. Oh my goodness. Rebecca is the perfect book to read in the summer. If you haven't read this already, oh my gosh, please go and read it now. It's so good. Okay, next is a book that I haven't read yet. So I hope it does fit the bill. It just sounds like it would. It's YA. Who am I? But I think it could fit the bill. It's The Merciless by Danielle Vega. So this is about a group of teenage girls, and we meet one of the girls named Sophia. She's new to school, and these girls decide to befriend her, and she knows fairly quickly that she really should have befriended a different group of girls, because these girls have decided to tie up one of the girls from their school named Brooklyn. They're tied her up and are performing an exorcism on her. They're essentially torturing this girl. Now, I'm imagining there's a lot of vindictive reasons for this. I don't fully know, so I apologize for that. It might just be hate, but I imagine that there's some sort of reason that they hate this girl and they're doing this to her. And I really want to read this soon. It sounds so creepy. So yeah, that's The Merciless. Next is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I mean, how could I not have this on this list? Now, I'm worried that I'm going to give stuff away, so I'm not going to say too much about this, but this is about Amy and Nick, who are married. And one day you discover that Amy has gone missing on their anniversary, no less. I think is it their 5th anniversary? I can't remember. She's gone missing. Everyone kind of looks at Nick and goes, "Did you do it?" And he has the media after him. He has the police after him. And so you go back and forth from Nick's perspective. His wife is gone. Everyone thinks he did it. And then you get all of these diary entries from Amy, his wife, from before she went missing. And it's, oh my gosh, twisty, turny. I will say, if you haven't read this, get to the middle. Like sometimes I nearly put this down actually, which would be horrendous if I had done that and didn't experience it. Get to the middle. There are big twists in the middle. So wait for it. It is worth it. I'm not even asking you to wait until the end for this big, huge reveal. I actually find that kind of annoying in thrillers when that happens. There's a big twist in the middle, and I think you should wait it out and read it. And then you'll see all sorts of vindictiveness in this marriage. Next is The Night Visitor by Lucy Atkins. So this follows a professor named Olivia Sweetman, And it also follows Vivian Tester. Now, Olivia Sweetman has written a biography about a scientist. I think it's one of like the first doctors or the first female surgeon of the Victorian era. And she's written this biography with the help of Vivian Tester, who like works at a museum or something, and they meet, and she gets all of this information about this, pioneering female doctor from this woman, and they kind of collaborate, but she doesn't feel very close to Vivian. Vivian is a bit of an oddball. She is socially awkward, very close to her dog. I loved Vivian. Oh my gosh, she's one of my favorite characters of all time. And Olivia becomes a little bit afraid of Vivian because she has been hiding secrets. Vivian has been unveiling them, and Vivian expects that she's owed a certain amount for the help that she's given. Oh my gosh, this is just so much fun. I really enjoyed this. I think this was marketed as a thriller, and I feel like it's more mystery than thriller, maybe a little bit gothic as well. So I just really loved it, and enjoy Vivian. If you need a vindictive character in your life, I mean, you're welcome. Here's Vivian. Okay, and last but not least, it's not surprising that I have two Daphne du Maurier's on the list here. So I've also got My Cousin Rachel. And this is about two cousins, two male cousins. We meet Philip, and we follow Philip throughout this. He's very close to his cousin. His parents have died, and his cousin took him in and really raised him as his own. They're very much bachelors living together, but his cousin does get ill, and he needs to leave England essentially and go to Florence. That was often, I think, it was often recommended for people if you had like an ailment. Oh, you need to like go by the sea. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, so he goes there. He falls in love with this woman, and he's writing all of these letters to Philip, and Philip's kind of curious about it because this is very sudden. He marries this woman, and then he promptly dies. And Philip is mad, and Philip blames Rachel, the wife, who has decided to make her way from Florence to his home where he lived with his cousin. And Philip is very angry. Who is vindictive in this? I mean, Philip definitely is. He also meets her and gets to know her. So it's just such a fun mystery. I really, really enjoyed it. So those are all of the books that I have to recommend to you today about vindictive characters in literature. I hope that you enjoyed. Again, if you are a Cancer, I just don't believe it. I almost don't believe that this is a characteristic, mostly because of my friend, because it just seems so outlandish that would, anyway. We all have faults. I will talk with you soon. I hope you enjoyed this. If you are a Cancer, again, happy birthday. I hope you get another sneaky glass of wine or an extra slice of cake, and I hope you're spoiled. I will talk with you guys very soon. Bye!